Good evening, everyone. Welcome to week 7 of Planning for Profit. Tonight's topics are labor, insurance, and safety. We have two presenters tonight, Diane Green with Green Tree Naturals, who's been a presenter before, is going to present tonight, and we have a guest, Linda Castaneda from Idaho Department of Labor. She's down in Burley. I'm Colette DePhelps. I'll be your webinar facilitator, and Melissa Lines is your question moderator. Again, let's go over our webinar tips. Please close all other programs running on your computer to optimize your webinar experience. Check your sound. If you're running into problems with clarity, speed, etc., go ahead and switch to the phone. The call-in number is provided in your welcome email. And if you do call in on the phone, please mute your computer sound when using the phone. Last week we did have a little bit of interference, and that was not with you all. That was definitely on the presenter side with someone's particular phone line. But if you have consistent interference throughout the webinar, definitely go ahead and switch. But if it's just with one speaker, that may be on the speaker's side, just to let you know. You can type your questions for speakers in the question chat box, and we really recommend that you type those in as they come to you so that we have them on hand when we have our Q&A time. Again, pink responses are private to you, green responses are to the full audience. Reviewing assignments. We hope that you've been on the course website, posted comments and questions in the discussion forum, and that you've been able to catch up on the reading and assignments and have begun the week 7 readings. With that, I'm going to turn over the webinar to Diane Green.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you on the computer again this evening. We get to talk about labor, insurance, and safety, which are all topics that, well, I think we all have some pretty mixed feelings about this, and hopefully by the time we get through this evening, you'll be enlightened on a lot of different aspects. Labor is really often a limiting factor in farm management, and no matter how much you love what you're doing, you can be efficient at accomplishing only so much. I mean, our motto has always been do as much as you can and then do some more, but it's one of the biggest challenges for all of us as farmers, and your family is the best source of labor for most of us, and using your family labor should be utilized fully before you think about hiring help. And because labor does not require a cash out payment as an employee would, and that's really key to our survival, is being conscious of how we use our labor. There are never too many hands to do all the work on a small farm, and rarely enough dollars to pay for all the work that needs to be done. It's important that you learn how to work smart and to use your own labor as thoughtfully and efficiently as you can. And this is a photo of transplanting strawberries. As your farm grows, you may realize that you need to expand beyond your family operation. I'm not going to read all of this for you, but it's really important when the workload swells beyond what the family can manage, we shoulder the expense of hiring workers. And we need to consider hiring workers to complement rather than replace our family skills. Labor should really be hired to do what you do not do best. And that's not an easy thing to do, because most of us really want to do everything and be everything, but we really need to assess how our chores are working and pick projects that don't require our personal touch for who we hire for labor. Whoever's best suited for a certain area of operation should really spend their time doing all of that as well as it can be done. And that, I mean, I'd almost think about, I mean, I keep going back to these different types of assessments, but I almost consider doing an assessment of all the projects that we do on the farm and really look closely at what things we can move through, what things we can let go of and have someone else do. And we all tend to, this is a picture of Tom planting garlic. He's very picky about his garlic planting and has a certain way that he wants it done, and we've never hired anyone to do our garlic. Personally, I'd love to hire someone for that process, but we don't do that because that's something he likes to be perfect, and look at those perfect little rows. So it's not an easy thing to do, hiring farm labor. You really need to only hire when you absolutely have to. I mean, everybody has their different feelings about it, and I suppose when it comes down to it, it depends on how much funds you have to spend on that. But for myself, it's very rare that we've ever hired anybody to do anything. If we have hired someone to come in and help with weeding or something, we make every effort to hire the best person for the job. And you really need to do that assessment when you're going into hiring somebody, and make sure that you develop an application process and at least see a resume and check references and make sure that the person knows what they're doing when you go to hire, because I mean, you don't want to have to train somebody to get the job done if you don't have to. And finding really good, steady help is not always an easy thing to do. The ideal employee is going to be a local person that you can train once and keep on for a long time, so you don't have to train them over and over again. I mean, that's the perfect employee that I would consider. I want somebody that's going to be here. I train them once and it's all done. So choose to have an employee. If you do choose to have an employee type situation, you'll have to consult a tax accountant, because you may need to withhold taxes and Social Security from their paychecks. You might have to pay unemployment insurance or workman's comp. Those are things you need to think about. And no matter how you decide to fill your labor requirements, it's your responsibility to ensure safety on the job site and provide insurance for possible injuries as necessary by the State Department of Labor, which moves us into our guests this evening. I kind of went through this really fast, but I really wanted to have allow Linda to spend more time going through this for us. Okay. I'd like to introduce Linda Castaneda. Linda is a labor compliance officer with the Idaho Department of Labor out of Burley, Idaho. She's going to enlighten us on the rules and regs associated with farm labor. And we will have some time after Linda's talk for questions, so please send those in as they come up and as she moves through her presentation. Thank you for joining us this evening, Linda. Are you there, Linda? Hello?
Hello. I'm here. You had me on mute.
Oh.
I'm very privileged to be here tonight, and if you have any questions, be sure to write them down, and I'll try to get them all answered. And as she said, I'm Linda from Burley, and I'm also the State Farm Labor Contractor License Coordinator. So we'll now begin. Idaho Code 44-1602. I'm mainly going to talk about farm labor contractors' licenses this evening. The Farm Labor Contractors License Law went into effect 9 years ago. It became effective in January 2003. The Wage and Hour section of the Idaho Department of Labor, we're responsible for administering Idaho's minimum wage and also the farm labor contractor licensing laws. In 2011, which was just last year, we issued 45 labor contractor licenses, farm labor contractors licenses, and none were revoked. We've had a